Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Om Shanti Healing's podcast, The Spiritual Connection. Welcome to episode 45. Today, I have my guest speaker, Lance Dewbre, on from Clarity Coaching. He is an expert at NLP coaching and changing the subconscious mindset to better control and support your life. Thank you, Lance, for being on. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a nice, brisk, chill day here in Colorado. We're happy to be here. Gotta say, I love your horse behind you. What a beautiful picture I
Thank
just noticed.
you, Marsha
Oh,
Baldwin.
that.
I have nine of her
Wow. A lot of
pieces.
heart. I got a lot of heart, I feel like, in that
I
photo.
love her piece. She's amazing. She's out of California.
Very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, we're waiting for winter, aren't we? Both
Yeah, I can't think
like
if she's coming or
dragon.
going. I don't know. She's gotta be coming. I gotta be.
Yeah, it's been, oh, well, today it's 58 degrees and
No.
we were just waiting for snow. We're getting
We
it up top in the mountains, but not in the valley here.
we had it at 15 like a day or two ago, so I have like three jackets in my truck if I'm going on and off.
Such is Colorado life, right? We have to wear our layers and be prepared for it to be 20 degrees and 60 degrees and then 20 degrees all on the same day.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful. Well, I want to talk about today with Lance, his business. I know you through the community, through networking. We're friends, and I wanted to have you on to share your clarity coaching work that you do. But before we get into that, I would love to hear some of your backstory. You kind of start from childhood as much as you want to share. Like, what kind of stuff happened that led you into wanting to do this kind of coaching and therapeutic work for people? Can you just share a little bit about that?
I would love to, and thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here and on
Of
the show. I've listened to your podcast. It's very good stuff on it. So let's see. Yeah, way back. So who is this guy, this Clarity Coach guy? So like, let's go way back for a second. Really back whenever I was a kid, I was actually working with my father. He was known as a Pentecostal preacher, a deliverance minister, a few other names for it. Basically, he was really good at helping people connect to what I'd call your unconscious mind and your source or God, Jesus, like what you connect with. And he'd bring them back through like a visualization experience where you're like, hey, what would happen if like God came into that room and stuff? And he was pretty connected. So he'd get like kind of places and names. But that was about it. Just enough to kind of guide us to where we needed to go, right? And then I would see this as a kid of him working at the house or us being the last people to go in church, where him and my mom or and maybe a few support people would help someone who had a really hard event go through, support them, pray with them where they started getting this information. Then dad would usually be the end one leading him through something like this. And I remember stories of like, he'd say, well, let the Lord come into that room and what is he doing for you? I remember stories of like, oh, I see him having this big shield, and protecting me from these arrows. Or I saw he's we get emotional. Of think of one thing where this I worked with this kid with he had a lot of stuff with his dad going on, and we basically helped him to release an experience when his dad was, we'll say, very rough, let's just say. And I remember he said that he felt like God hugged him and held him in this hug on a couch and was like, hey, you know, I want you to forgive your dad because, he's human. And like the whole thing is the purpose for that I want is for y'all to be a family and to like connect and stuff. And so just little stories like that, just going up through my life and seeing things like that and really just being interested in this unconscious, conscious. Remember, I was really fascinated with this voice in my head of like, and why is it working against me so much? And how can I have it help me, man? Because man, this thing's mean to me.
So many lessons that just never end, right? If only we can get to the answers.
I'm learning more and more when you even just say that answers thing that one of my favorite things I've been learning is I think it's more of a like we're like this beautiful light bulb that's just gotten dirty or something, and then we're just learning to wash off or something, more and more, become more of our true selves. I think that we get lost, we become, a child and that teenager, we get, all this shame and judgment or whatever, and you have to become this adult. And I think part of it too is kind of coming back. I think of that scripture of like coming back in that childness, likeness of God or something, right? All right. Well, anyway, so yeah, so let's see. Started with seeing that with my father and the work. I had always counselors and therapists and coaches. I was into energy healing and like Reiki. We got into maybe even tantric stuff, but my version of that was more of like we'd honestly do something called prayer in a hat, where you write someone's name in a hat and toss it in. We'd go around and it'd be like maybe a dozen of us, and we'd pull out a slip, but you wouldn't look at it, right? And then you just ask for information on that person. So I just grew up kind of practicing that muscle, if you will.
What a great influence. Not often taught by parents, is it?
Yeah, I was really lucky to have that support in this way that, the things I was experiencing or the gifts I was doing and whatnot was supported, right? It wasn't strange or woo-woo or whatever. Because man, it was too darn accurate. I mean, I just saw it happen so accurate all the time. When I'd work with people too, I'd put down these ideas or seeing this vision of whatever and be like, oh my God, man, like that's exactly what I was going through. That's exactly what I was thinking about. And sometimes too, it wasn't so literal. I remember one that was like I still can see it. It was a bicycle wheel. And I said, I just see you in the middle of the spoke. I never met this guy. And I said, you just got like 50, stinking decisions, man, and you don't know what to pick. And he just looks at me, man, his eyes get all big. He's like, man, that is so right. Like for him, it was just right. So you just trust it, man. You just trust it. So I would love to say that, my whole life was, great or perfect or whatever, but it was no, not true at all. I mean, I definitely had so many issues of growing up in learning disability and being told I was dyslexic, dysgraphia, ADD, ADHD, and really having to feel like you're having to double work for the same result as some other people. And grew up in a family-owned business or three family-owned businesses, ran from home as an only child, only grandchild. So lots of conversations, a lot of miscommunications that we learned. And so my parents and I were always open to personal growth and development, right? Grew up listening to Tony Robbins and the Firewalk as a kid, and all that stuff. And my dad was into hypnotherapy as a young guy, mixing NLP and whatnot. So I'd hear the way he'd do it, and I just found it fascinating. But I never thought I could make money with it, and I just knew little sporadic tools.
Mhm.
So now let's catch up to like basically before COVID, I have to say was one of the roughest times of my life. I was very sad, very lost. I didn't want to run my dad's Western event business or a store. And we'll share this story for another time, but basically I just had this experience where I just realized, hey dad, I need to let this go. And when I did, I met someone at a boat party in Austin, Texas, where I literally had this incredible pulling to go talk to someone where I was introduced into integrative psychology. And I remember she was a doctorate or a master's in something, I think family counseling or something. And she goes, "Oh, you need to do this." And I remember this download happened to me, man. And I was like, "Oh, this is what I need to do. This is where I need to go." And I was driving back home. I remember going, "Man, God, what the heck?" I was at a boat party, like not a place you think for spiritual experiences necessarily. I don't know. Austin's got its special places sometimes, man. But I remember driving home and I heard this thing of saying inside of me being like, "Yeah, Lance, this is really the next step." I was like, "Wow." And oh man, what took you so long? Like, I'm trying a lot of stuff here. I'm trying a lot of things. And I heard, "Yeah, Lance, but you never let go what you knew wasn't serving you." I also saved the best for last. So you knew when you tried everything else, when I gave you gold, you knew what it was worth. And now that you let go of what doesn't serve you with your dad's business, I can fully use you. So now I'm giving you the next step. Maybe, Lance, right? You haven't waited on, I've been waiting on you. You haven't been waiting on me, right?
Twist. Well, that's great. Like sometimes we get those downloads when we least expect it, right? We have to make room for that kind of stuff to come in. Yes.
Yeah, I want to say too, I wasn't in a good mood or anything. Like I was in a bad mood actually. I was driving there pissed, confused. I mean, yeah, I'm chilling on the boat. I'm up people over there doing whatever, you know. I'm more just like, what am I gonna do next? You know, I'm like, it's a beautiful day, I'm enjoying it. But like, man, you know, I'm lost. And I just got this crazy into it. I mean, it was nuts. I mean, I just like it yanked my body. I remember too, I went, what are you doing? And I heard, I don't know. I mean, oh man, if you don't know and I don't know, who's running the ship? We're in trouble. Abort. And then I remember I dropped into my body and I went, whoa, is this Holy Spirit? Is this like intuitive moment? Like, and I remember her and I still laughed because I walked up and I was like, hey, I don't know who you are, but I'm supposed to talk to you. And don't tell me I'm wrong, because I know I felt something. Something, it was so weird. And she just looked at me and went, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what I'm saying. Oh man, life. It is hilarious.
Well, it
So
seemed to have clicked. Tell the listeners what NLP is.
so that's where this gets into. So whenever this thing called the Integrative Psychology Board was built through the world of alternative medicine. Okay, that's where all of this is. And basically, these guys who came from Richard Bandler, which is where NLP was kind of birthed from. He's the original like top hypnotherapist in the world. Virginia Satir, who's the top family counselor in the world. Dr. Matt and his father, who were, I know Dr. Matt was one of the first guys to ever do a fire walk with Tony. They were all three hanging with Richard Bandler, who was talking about NLP. And a lot of people don't know this, but actually NLP, Tony Robbins only knows very basic stuff about it, but he learned some basic things and made it really big and whatever. But these guys stuck with it. And what is it all about? Well, it's how to talk to our internal processing system. So we have automatic patterns that go off, you know, even how we brush our teeth or comb our hair or drive our car, right? If you look around, everyone's going to click and move and brush or do the thing or button up, whatever, right? And you try switching hands with the other toothbrush, right? You're like, hey man, you know, so, right? So they understood that the problem is inside of us, right? It's inside of, it's not the conscious where what I call the mouse, it's the computer that's fully all in us, you know, that's operating when we're sleeping, that's doing the digesting, that's pumping the blood, all those things, it's breathing at night. And these guys found out that, hey, when we use certain language in certain ways, we can actually help the unconscious mind to basically relax, clear out, sometimes remove, replace, whatever that is, update. I've been that one a lot, promote. That's a new fun one I've been using. We're basically why I use the word clarity was because to me, these tools and techniques, I've never had anything help me become clear, congruent, empowered, solid in myself. Going, all right, now I know what the issue is, or now I understand why this thing was bouncing me back and forth. And when you get resolution internally in the depths of who you are, you know, that quantum field, if you will, you get real change. I mean, I had a guy that had 10 years of PTSD, lost 4 inches of the width of his legs in an oil fire. He talks about it, has a review on the video on my website. And man, we did like a month or something together. And he said it was more than 10 years of PTSD therapy. And I mean, we literally cleared it out in like less than a couple weeks and then just did a few months of follow-ups because we got to the core issue. Believe it or not, that was a very young event.
Yeah, getting to the root of it can be generational. It could be in utero, right?
Yes,
You
yes.
know, it's that timeline you use to work backwards with people is really potent and powerful. And all the talk therapy in the world, you know, can help to some degree in the present moment and maybe some in the past, but it doesn't tap into the subconscious. It doesn't tap into those stories, the really deep, dark stuff, right? That really sabotages you on your day to day. You
I
know, it
mean,
might be one sentence you heard when you were 2 years old from your dad, you know, that changed the trajectory of your entire life and, you know, guided you in a direction that was unhealthy. right? I believe that the root problem is where you need to start, and you help people find that. It's a process, isn't it?
Absolutely. I love all that is so good. Even the guy I've worked with now have like studied under like 30, 50 doctors now. Some of my guys have 10 doctorates each. And they'll tell you, look at the history of what talk therapy was. It got big because you couldn't make money with sort of hypnotherapy because it took care of the problem too fast.
Mhm.
And then you kind of couldn't support your family, so you didn't really have an option. That really was the big pivot, somewhere around the 1800s or early 19, I can't remember the time. But yeah, that's what happened. And then it got stuck on, even says in the document, like, it takes a long time because it's more just talk about the surface, just getting it out. And yes, it can be beneficial. What I've learned though is most tools and techniques, and I counted once, I stopped counting after 30 something. I was like, well, whatever, 30 something, what I'm going to quit. Right? Is all this stuff. I'm like, most of it, and all of these doctors I've worked with would agree is more. It's not preventative, right? It's not getting to the root. It's maintenance. It's like maintaining or kind of dealing or, the car, washing the car once a month, but not really dealing with the fact that there's, stains and stuff. You know what I mean? Something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's the superficial layer of things, right? And to get really deep into it, you got to get vulnerable and you got to tap into some stuff that you might have been stuffing for 30, 40 years.
Hey, I got something real good that just came up. I remember we were doing a coaching program and I'll be real generic. We had someone come up to the front of the room and they were like, "Hey, hey, Dr. Matt, I'd love to learn how to, let's go of something even faster." He was talking about how to do like, months of coaching and hours kind of thing. Like, how do you really get to that root issue? And he starts sharing like, "Yeah, well, the problem's my truck. It's my truck." He looks at the audience. He goes, "Is that the problem?" We're like, "No." He keeps talking and sharing some information. He said, "Well, it's just my dad. My dad made me buy it. I'm just pissed at him." Is that the problem? No. Okay, we keep going. Yeah, well, I'm just not too sure what I want. He goes, "Not bad. Is that the problem?" We were like, no. He goes, "Again." He goes, "You know what? I just don't know what I want in life, and I don't even trust myself as a man." Dude, freaking room dropped. So that's when I'm working with people too. I'm waiting for that.
Right.
Sometimes people look at me real weird too. I'm like, listen, I learned to say this. I could have stopped a long time ago. And we can get a result. But I want to have fun, so let's go a little more so we can get a bang. And that's what I get giddy about because I have grown up doing this. I see it, I love it, it lights me up. I think it's what I'm even like psychics I've seen are like, dude, this is what you're meant to do. Like this is just what you're geared for, bro. And I just love it. I love helping. To me, this is why. It's like I get to help someone find an invisible puzzle and help them solve it that they don't even realize that is running the background of their life and self-sabotaging them. And
That's
I have
true.
people freaking, triple their business and pregnant after 7 years of trying and, all kinds of nutty stuff of just amazing transformations. Addiction's gone, you know, um, stage fright gone. I've seen stuff even with allergies, like cat allergies, like stuff like that. Like, because think about it, if we put a projection booth of a giant cat and, a bunch of these people think they're allergic and they start scratching whatever, there ain't no cat, just a picture. But it reacted in the unconscious, right? So what level that is, right? It can, that's a much deeper thing depending on the person, the baggage, and all that. The point is, it's real, and it's really cool to see like how much, and we're seeing now something like 90% of diseases are psychosomatic in our belief system. We had one guy talking about in the book Healing Back Pain, talks John Sarno. I'm just going to trust my gut. um, 10,000 case study that if a woman with cancer, right-handed in left breast, equaled with a 99% success rate of 10,000 people, equaled a belief system connected to empty nest syndrome. Something about their worth or value being outside of them, therefore creates the dis-ease. I mean, there's so much research behind like belief systems and energy getting stuck and creating these unharmonies in our body.
I believe in that fully.
Your body keeps the score. I mean, that's a great original one, a lot of people know about. I mean, the science is here, guys. I mean, it's so here now. I mean, and what's wild is it's catching up to all the spiritual stuff. I mean, I'm training something called also Huna, ancient art of Hawaiian healing, and like coming back to like what they're proving with energy and like this energy healing, how real it is. And now my guys are talking about how to figure out when you add what. Hey, let's release the belief here deep into the internal belief system. And yes, it can be generational. I had one recently that was like, this dude was like, and I knew it was, he was so solid. He said, oh yeah, man. I've actually know my grandfather's grandfathers said this. This is like a thing in our family. It was a horrible quote. It's like never works out for the dudes kind of deal.
Wow,
Like the guys
that's
just get
powerful.
fucked. Yeah, like the guys are, yeah.
He inherited that thought process, that mindset. Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I know they have it back. So we went to release people, that's why in a way too, I'm doing not only NLP, but I'm doing a little mix of hypnotherapy, something called mental and emotional release, which in the study in the book, you can look it up, had 100% success in getting these kids out of clinical depression compared to what? Cognitive behavioral talk therapy.
Walk us through the process, Lance, of when you meet somebody and you offer that free hour. Let's talk about that first. Okay. And then after that, kind of walk us through your program and what happens with inside of it.
Amazing. My hour is my teaser because I always thought, a lot of times money can be the barrier, or like, I'm not sure who is this guy or what is this process, man, 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 man. It's like, bro, free hour. Because also, not only has I learned, I'm actually also testing them. Don't tell anybody. Because I'm also seeing as a fit. And I'm also to my give back to like, hey, let me show you that this stuff can work in ways you didn't even think was possible. I mean, I counted now a dozen people locally that said, I really asked, what is the value of this before we release it? They're like, that's $1 million value, bro. Like, shit, this has been stuck forever. Now, is it or is it not? I mean, we can sit here. I'm just telling you, I asked, and that's what they said. I've had out a dozen. And then we pop that sucker and I read it back, and they're like, what the heck? That was a 10 belief. Now it's like a one or something. And it's just amazing to see. So, 1 hour, just get on the 1 hour. It's just to test it, try it out. We're just going to talk about a little bit like one, we're going to start with a little grounding exercise. That's to have both of us come to be more present. And also, when the body feels safe, the unconscious mind gives us better information. So that's why I do that. I do a little easy with what's the problem or what do you like to fix or the genie with the magic lamp, what'd you wish for? Kind of thing. And so I get some information of what's going on, blah, 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 blah. I actually say, hey, look, I'm giving you permission. I'm giving you giving you permission to bitch, basically, or whatever, complain or whine. And because I want some, I
Gives
want,
you a good baseline of what
yes.
to work on. You're taking notes
Yeah.
through
And
all that,
before I do like a 30
creating a
minute,
plan.
whatever. And before I do a 30-minute, but I realized that ain't giving me enough time to even connect with the person. And I was like, well, an hour and a half, that's a lot. And I was like, bro, just do it right in between, like, because 30 minutes you can connect. One of my tools is like about 30 minutes. I was like, that's freaking perfect. And when I moved to a new place, which I did here in Denver a year plus ago, like I can have something that's an easy yes. And so my business in there in, Dallas Fort Worth still going, and I'm starting to build a little pod here. So yeah, free 1 hour do the we what grounding, what's the problem, and then I call it my top five contenders. So go, all right, out of these things that were mentioned, that I don't have the value, I don't trust myself, money's evil, so and XYZ's bad, whatever that is, right? And then we even look at that, I go, okay, now which one of these when the is the winner? Which one in the boxing ring, bam, man, like, or the deepest root, baby. If we kill this puppy, that tree's dead. And I kind of like look at it, I'm like,
Yeah. There's
right?
always one that's louder, right? That's the
Yes,
loudest,
there's always
most
something that's a little
screaming.
louder. And I keep going. I'll give you a little secret. I keep going until I hear something about childhood, actually. Keep going, like, oh, when I was a kid, I did. I'm like, oh, yeah. You'll see me like, I get like this little cat grin. I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I know we're getting close. I know it's something because that's when it comes in. Like you mentioned, what 1 to 7 is actually when the unconscious mind is totally open. The conscious doesn't come in till a year or so later to that like kind of blocker that we have now. So it's just soaking it in.
Yeah. And
So
that's
we
what
find that.
1 to 7 is when we're like sponges, right? That's the ages that kids can see spirit, right? My kids saw spirit at that age. They're like, Mom, who's that guy in the bathroom in the corner up on the ceiling? Or they would see a cat, in the bathroom that used to live there prior to us living there. Like they're so open and easily influenced by their surroundings and how they're nurtured and how their parents behave with them and how their parents behave with each other, how they talk about money, how they talk about the future, everything that's discussed and felt energetically in that time. Kids soak it in, and it kind of creates a dictation of what their perception is going to be as they grow up, right? Highly influenceable, but not the cognition is not mature enough to process that that's not necessarily truth because they're children. So it can F you up big time as you grow up and become an adult, right?
So I
That's
love
your
this.
that's your truth.
I
That's
love this. Love
facts
this.
in your
My
mind.
dad gives me this great analogy, and I use it all the time now because I heard it since his kid. He goes, "The spilt milk analogy." Lance, you're 6 years old. The milk spills. Ham goes down. Bam. What does that mean? I'm not
Right.
saying anything on purpose because I'm not letting people listen for a second. What did you hear in your head? Right? Maybe some
Right.
heard scared, or fear, or safe, or trouble, or right?
Hate, right? Anger. You
Yeah, anger.
disappointed him. You were rejected by him.
Just spill milk.
You're wrong,
But
right?
it's just spilt milk. Yet we are humans and we create experiences or root out of that, right? That explodes or, keeps birthing into this thing, which is why I believe in this work. My dad says, look, if it works, it works. Like, that's it, man. We're only doing it and I'm picking this and whatever because I've never seen anything else get results like this. Now, money's not falling from the sky or anything. And I've seen some damn near incredible changes of people of just like getting to that. Okay, well, when did this really come in? Because it's not the truck, right? It's not the truck. It's the I don't trust self. Cool, when that come in? Yeah, and then people are like, I don't know. Funny enough, you tell the unconscious mind, you give it the right direction. Hey, and give your unconscious mind permission. Ask it. Is it before, during, after your birth? When did it come in? You get someone in a relaxed state, it's amazing what comes out. Oh man, I think it's before, like blah 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 blah. Whoa, yeah, that is one lady, man have a she's like, I'm in 1800s in this ship. I mean, she just starts sobbing and she's like, I'm on this boat and like started kind of waving. It was wild. Comes back to now completely flat. Read back her own handwriting. She's like, what the heck just happened? I was like, yeah, man, we actually cleared a root of it. Maybe in past lives sometimes. So I asked, is it generational? Is it past life? Is it in the womb? Oh, I got another one. Oh, so good. I was first learning this like how many years ago now? 6, 7 years ago. This girl says, "Yeah, wasn't that cool? That mental emotional release thing, especially that anger." I was like, "Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel good, but I don't even know what just happened, you know." And she's like, "Yeah, yeah. Like, where is anger for you?" I was like, "I don't even know. I think I said past life, which I don't even believe in." So I was like, it's so confused. And she goes, well, for anger for me was 6 months on my mother's womb. I was like, okay, wow, that's oddly specific. She's like, yeah, I don't know. And a few days later, after the training, her mom picks her up. She was like, 25 or something or whatever. And her mom goes, we're having wine, I think, together. Her mom goes, I can't believe my daughter knew that. I go, knew what? Oh, about the 6 month thing. What's it? What do you mean what do you mean? There's a thing with it? What do you mean? She goes, oh yeah. I had a guy that I decided to, be together with who was physically hurting me, but I didn't have any other way to have financial support, so I didn't know what else to do, and I was having a baby. It was right that month
Wow.
I decided, and I remember having a flood of this anger in my body. Well, guess what her daughter's connected to? Her body, bro.
Yeah. And I can vouch for the testimonial because I worked with Lance too. as a client. So that free hour really did pull me in because it was amazing. We peeled back a couple layers, and then your next level of package was just validate this, the 3 hour, right? Where we
Yeah,
do two 1 hour sessions, or we did what, 2 1 hours. It was a 5 hour, wasn't it? We did 2 1 hours and then a 3 hour, right?
you got it.
You
Perfect. Yeah,
remember?
I
Okay.
call it my mini month. Yep, it's 5 hours. You work with my naturopathic doctor to do like an oral spray, usually to just get the body ready. That way it's naturopathic, hypoallergenic, that kind of thing. Is usually
Yeah.
what I do with people. And then yeah, take them through, that's usually that 1 hour that starts there with her, also including the free 1 hour, in a way. And then we do that 3 hour deep dive usually a few weeks later. And then after that, we do another 1 hour check-in a few weeks later after that. So yeah, that's around like
Right.
five-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
'Cause that way I
Okay.
also want to check it like, hey, it's been a few weeks, like let's check it out. And 9 times out of 10, it's always like, damn, man, like now I'm just on to the next thing. It's just always the next thing, which is great. But I like to say, well, we got your system. Check this out. I'm saying this different lately. We got your system to catch you up, to see you for now. It's like an iPhone. Check this out. I think this is so good. Think about an iPhone being the update is your age. Okay. Right? So your level, whatever. I think like that. I kind of like more like a video game. Your level, right, 40 or something like that. Okay. What happens though is that we could have our operating system still in level 6 and it
Mhm.
doesn't see us as a level 30. So this is a way to help the whole processing system inside of us in general. So not just when people get stuck too here on, oh, it's got to be trauma or big old blah blah blah. Nah, man. If you look at, I know big real estate companies, all of their managers do this stuff because they need to know how to lead teams and do proper goal setting, action, focus. I could take people through, not only that mini month, but that I usually do a 3 month package next, or like a 6 month, because now we're doing something called a breakthrough session. That's 2 4 hour days back to back. It's 30, 25, 30, basically mental emotional performance tools of updating, rewiring, parts integrating, forgiving, value, all kinds of stuff, right? Goal to future, all these things that we can really look at and help upgrade that these guys, these integrative psychologies guys created. So it wasn't Lance, I'd love to say yes. I mean, how amazing. I say, this is a process I learned from a group of guys and gals that whole purpose was create change in the unconscious mind. And then, I mean, I work with so many doctors that blend this with their work because the results are so good. Even like a chiropractor I know, man, he does breakthroughs all the time because he's doing them on their relationship with their body, clearing out release, information with their body, being mad at their body, right? Hello, does any of us have any kind of body? I know I'm, really love my, work on my body a lot. Every day I work out, so, but, I'm sure some of it have some internal work, but I also really love it. I love being healthy and I worked on that too, so I can love my body more and not be like, you better, ugly piece of shit, you better, right? That tells you too if there's a lot of baggage. Notice if there's a lot of away languaging, right? A lot of the stick versus the carrot. I've been using that a lot lately, right? How much of that internal languaging is like, oh, let's go towards it. And it feels good. And I'm pulled. I'm in that flow and I desire it. Much more towards pulling, right? I can even feel my body lifting versus the doing, the I better get figured it out. And the rah, 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 and oh boy, and this using the fear to, we got to look at all the problems. Now I understand I worked in an event company. We want to look for, to make it excellent. And I'm learning there's a way to look for excellence and missing holes without being in the state of like panic, anger, and paranoia. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes, for sure. Like attraction to the outcome, right? With grace and patience and excitement. That's really hard for people to do, right? Especially as an entrepreneur, there's that undercurrent of urgency all the time. That's, you feel it a bit, always working on it. You're probably really good at managing that with what you
My
do.
homework lately has actually been, Lance, sit down, shut up. Actually feel the feelings of how much I want to go do something. No, dude, your stretch is sitting down and chilling. It's really
Yeah.
depending on the person, right? That's another thing I love about this work is we're helping you discover you and what you need for your next step. Because some it's to chill the F out, and some it's like you lazy. It's time to go, baby. You're like, let's go.
Yeah, where's the happy medium? Because people can push, push, push and think they're productive by staying busy,
Ugh.
but nothing's happening, right? You blow days and it's like nothing's happening. There's no production, but you're busy, so you justify it somehow, right? So how do we get to a place where we're consistent, right? And producing something, not necessarily money, but something to move forward towards the goal of becoming evolution, of becoming a better version of ourselves, right? What does that look like? Where there could be
I actually got a process.
processes.
Yeah, I actually have a process for you guys. I would love to share about how to
Let's
do
talk
that.
about it. You said you were going to do like a 10-minute process thing, right? You said yesterday that you had an idea of just a quick practice. You want to do that?
Yeah, we can do that. I'll do a 5 minute of this one and then I'll bring y'all through a little tool. So one of them, the main one that they found more than anything else, and the main thing that we get repeated over and over in our studies is called the four requisites for change. So just think about how to create change the most efficiently, or, I kind of like to think of like how to stop self-sabotage or, in internal conflict kind of thing. It's called the four requisites for change. If you want to create change, you have to do four things in this specific order, right? So the first one is you need to do release work. So release work is actually like letting go of something and creating space. The next one is goal setting because you need to actually plan. So when you're talking about it, made me laugh because I'm like, yeah, people get in a boat. One of my analogies I use a lot in even my website, I use this boat analogy of like, all right, well, I need to release my boat being tied to the dock, right? After that, then I need to goal set on where I want to go because people action all day in rowing, but they're just rowing in circles, going, "Look, mom, no hands," kind of thing. And it's like, well, are you really doing that? I mean, are you really, being productive? Like, let's look at it. Like, what do you want to create? You think even more simple. You have a cup that's full, right? Because we usually come to every day pretty full of whatever we think we know or whatever. So we don't release, let go of that. Now, what do we want to fill it into the cup of what that is, the goals? And action, doing it. You need to do it. We need to practice it and rep it. And then focus. What is your positive? Who do you want to become? What's your towards? What's motivating you? Right? That's one of the biggest things that people can do is just that. So release the belief, and even daily, right? Forgiving daily, forgiving ourselves, other people daily. And that's what we'll take you through a little forgiveness exercise today. Right? Release it, goal set. Oh, what kind of family do I want? Who do a person I want to become? What kind of people do I want to date? Right? Because a lot of people I think get mixed with this. So many coaches and things out there of the, well, just go date or something. Like go on a bunch of dates and you'll just rep through it kind of thing. I'm like, the problem is he still's got trouble with his mom and he's repeating it. Well, oh,
He keeps dating his mother, versions of his mother.
yes,
I
let's
married a
clear it out.
I
Just
married a version of my dad.
it
Thank God.
happens.
Praise Jesus. I'm divorced now. But back in the day,
Yes, and we're doing it to
me
heal
at the moment,
ourselves. Yes, very normal. I hear it
it's
all
just
the time.
familiar. Yeah. 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 So I want you to walk us through it, but just a quick segue here. Episode 44, folks, is one I did on powerless goal setting for daily, weekly, and quarterly goals. So, given our conversation of what we're discussing now, just refer back to that episode 44 for tips on goal setting and sticking with it. Okay, Lance, do you want to walk us through your 5-minute practice?
Let's do it. So we're going to do a forgiveness process that comes from Hawaii. I have all the credentials and all the ways to do this. I'm even from the original Hawaiians, from the original books. So just in case anyone has questions, it's all back to source. So it's pretty awesome. This comes from actual ancient Hawaiian languaging. So one of my favorite tools in the world. Now this is called Ho'oponopono. Now before people I know have already jumped to their thought of the I love you thing. It's actually that's a different lineage. Mine is a different process. So I think y'all will really love it. So what we're gonna do is close our eyes together. I'm gonna join you with me. This actually feels good for me to do today. Haven't done one in a few days. We're gonna do some nice breaths in and out, just about three or four here, through the nose, out the mouth, and we're gonna make a yawning sound or a sighing sound. This purpose is just to tell the system that to relax very quickly. So you'll even notice my voice will drop. Ah, it's letting everything relax. Ah, everything just dropped down into the seat. Ah, letting the shoulders start to sink. Ah, that's right. The body just slightly like a wet dish rag, just flopping down, aware but very relaxed. Ah, bringing some love, joy, and peace into the room wherever you're at. Ah, sitting some grounded down into the ground. Feeling nice and relaxed, closing your eyes, holding this state. The idea of this is that we have connection in our unconscious mind to all people that we've had contact with, people we've had or having relationships. So let's just go ahead now and give ourselves permission that first, that you're ready for this. You want to, it's called being pono, it means being peaceful within and peaceful outwards. So ho'oponopono, have peace both ways, giving yourself your unconscious mind permission, understanding that I'm not doing anything. It's you and your higher self doing the work. I'm just leading you through a process. So, self, whatever that is for you. Let's just imagine for a moment that you have this stage below you in front of you. We're just going to bring some people onto this stage. Imagine what the stage looks like, feels like, sees like. It's big or small or moving still. Bring all the people that are involved with this stage onto the stage now. All the people involved. You may notice all at once or a few, maybe one, doesn't matter. No rules here. It's your universe. And just imagine you have this like love healing light that connects from source above the top of your head. You're just going to fill up your body. I always think of the scripture of the cup overfloweth here. Always love that. Just overflowing this love healing light, kind of like a waterfall. Just dousing yourself in it, feeling good about it. And now as you just fill up this love healing light head to toe, you just notice your heart opens. You connect to the people onto the stage with their heart. And what we say is, I forgive you, please forgive me too. Because even if whatever the other person did, no matter how bad it was, if we're over here holding judgment and anger and rage against them, that's us still choosing violence in some way towards someone, even if it was horrific and bad. Say, hey, you know what? I forgive you for what happened. Please forgive me too. And just notice it back and forth, the group saying it back, like, hey, I forgive you. Please forgive us too. Taking some nice breaths in and out just to clear yourself, feeling grounded, feeling good. Maybe have a discussion if you need to, talk back and forth, say whatever needs to be said, hear whatever needs to be heard. Send anything back to source that's no longer yours. Opening up anything that's needed to, any connection, just sending it back to source, disconnecting. It's no longer yours, no longer needed. No, maybe not even comes from you, be generational, whatever it is. To release. Yeah, maybe I forgive you, please forgive me too. One more time, back and forth, clear it up. Nice breath in and out. And then bundle some, what we're going to do here is bundle some Aka connections, is what it's called. So just imagine like front of your stomach, you're going to pull down this love healing light again. You have all these like, I like to think of spaghetti strings or, you know, light cords or funny enough, it's literally what brain neurons look like. The Hawaiians didn't even know it. It literally looks like see-through spaghetti strings. It's so amazing. I have to think of my favorite that I've made up for me. It was like, I imagine all these extension cords, but some of them are like nasty, kind of rotty and spritzy. And I'm like, man, I either don't need this connection anymore, so I'm just gonna toss it and let it go because I don't have enough energy for this person or where I'm at or whatever's going on. And I'm gonna release that energy and whatever connection's there and make sure it's Pono and good. No, no, no. Just saying, hey, this is out of balance. I release it. Or if I took on something that was theirs, I let it go. So imagine that disconnect to happen, that, or they say that having like a love healing light come down and just chop all these connections and let everything just kind of dissolve for just a second and let it just be mute for just a moment. So you let it all dissolve. And then purposely reconnect who you want to reconnect with more strength, more power, more love, more congruence, more peace. Just acting from this state of being. We're just trying to tap into more higher vibration, letting go of the low, the anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, being more in the love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. Bringing that in now. Then just allow those to strengthen or you'd like for them to do. Feeling good about it, having fun with it, letting it all integrate now. Seeing yourself integrate. You don't really want to see yourself cutting connections from yourself. Just see yourself integrate even more, loving yourself even more, dusting off the dirt from your light bulb for yourself, reconnecting with who you'd like even deeper, and just thanking your unconscious mind, your higher self for successful process as you start to come back into your body, back to now. And then just notice, someone who was on that stage, I definitely feel a little lighter, even though I've done this many times. I definitely saw something today deeper I haven't felt before. It's like a big chord for me, just like like I can really be even more grounded, which is a wonderful feeling. Coming all the way back to now and open your eyes when you're ready, everyone.
Don't do this driving.
Yes, but keep your eyes open if
Thank you for
driving.
that,
Like,
Lance.
yeah,
That was
eyes open
great.
if driving.
Yeah. um, I started off with like a dozen people. And then as you kind of walked us through it, a lot of them just kind of fell off because I
Yeah.
wanted to focus on three specific humans in my life, the three most important ones in my life. And the others kind of were standing behind them when we all started. And my three kind of came more forward, and the others kind of fell back into shadow. Like I had to really kind of narrow it, tighten it up,
Mm.
and not have too many cords going in too many different directions because that contributed to my lack of focus, right? So brought it back in, and that really helped to concentrate harder on those three specific people and just clearing that out with those three. So
Awesome.
that's
Perfect.
my takeaway from it. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Thank
Well,
you.
I'll say it sounds like the unconscious mind basically highlighted like, hey, these are the ones I want you to focus on today. Like this is your little
Yeah,
mini route, with all these other people.
exactly.
And this
The
is the
inner
emotional
circle.
tie, right? Of like this
Yeah,
issue or, thing so that it was actually helping you highlight doing perfectly like it should.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lance. I'm going to have Lance put his information, give it to me. You're going to be sending it to me. I think it's just your website, right? That you want to
Yep.
put on the show notes.
Yep. Clarity Coaching Centers with an S, claritycoachingcenters.com is
Fabulous.
mine. And then on there is a free hour. So to all your people in there that are listening, you can definitely check it out if you want to have your own experience of this. Yeah, absolutely. Would love to give that to you because I didn't know this stuff existed. And I did, I want to X that barrier. And if you love this, there's a lot more you'll love.
Yeah. And did you say you had a free book download on your website?
Oh, what you can do is go to my calendar and go straight to my website, or you can book there, and that's the free 1 hour. Go straight to my calendar.
Okay. No, no free book download.
Well, I tell you what it is my free gift page. You can go there, and there's a whole free PDF, a four-page video series that it goes into like a 20-minute explanation, 5 minutes each, of all the four requisites, and like a 15-page PDF explaining it as well.
That's wonderful. That really gives people a lot of education on the processes. I'm very into knowing the processes of how things work, right? And getting very clear on that prior to making a move. So that's wonderful that you have that available. And I went through the process too with Lance. I did the free hour with him, and then we did the 5 hour program. And we went back in timeline here's my testimonial for Lance. He really helped me in 2025 get out of my own way with a lot of my self-sabotaging talk, a lot of my internal dialogue with my childhood and how my dad treated me, and the relationship around money with my parents, and so much more. Oh my gosh. I did a lot of crying. Lance saw me in
Oh.
a very ugly, gross way, and he supported and loved on me either way. I snapped at you a couple times too, but that was me apologizing to you now. But that was just me kind of processing. Like I was in the freaking trenches.
We were in it, girl, but that was
We were
awesome.
in it,
We were
and
in
a
it
lot of
together. We
stuff,
fought through it together.
yeah, a lot of stuff came up for me. Uh, with my mother, a lot of stuff came up with me in utero.
Yes. Oh,
Do you
yes. I
remember
remember that
that?
now.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm the middle of three girls. And I've been working on my money mindset and my lack and my fear mindset around money. And as an entrepreneur my whole life, it's not been easy, but it was all rooted in when I was in my mother's womb, and I asked her for validation after we were done with this therapy. I don't remember if I told you or not, but I asked my mom, I'm like, hey, mom, what was the state of your relationship with dad and our financial situation when you were pregnant with me? And she said, well, your dad was having an affair and we had $11 in the checking account when you were born.
Oh,
I was like, oh my God.
oh.
Oh my God. That explains a lot.
I remember in
You
our
know,
studies, they
it,
say energy and environment affects our cells first and foremost.
that was that was intense, man. To get to get validation, because that's what came up in our timeline as we were going backwards, right? Like you're like, when did this start? Like, well, I wasn't born yet. I feel it inside my mother, the anxiety, the
Hmm.
fear, the survival fear, the relationship, the uncertainty, the insecurity around her bond with my dad. Like that explains why I married a version of my dad, right? Trying to get validation, and oh my God, it's just
Hmm.
it's so much, but I really appreciate you going through all that. And the root of it was rejection.
Yeah.
When you ask for the one word, what's the one word? It took me, do you remember that? I think it was the 3 hour session we did, but it
Yes.
took me like 20 minutes to say it out loud.
I remember you. I
It was
remember,
hard
yeah,
for
you were
me
like, I
to
can't
like,
even, you're like, yeah, I got nauseous. I was like, that means we got it.
yeah,
Like, and then remember too, see, maybe because I'm hearing someone going like rejection or like whatever, like something. Like, you have to understand it's from 1 to 7. We want it simple. We do all the digging to find the core of the simplicity. Just think about the kid in us. I got hurt. What does that kid know? Rejection, hurt, pain, right? It's
not feeling
simple.
wanted.
The
Yes.
unwanted, not
It,
enough, right? But we just got
you
to find out what that one is connected to because that lights up the neurology in the unconscious mind, baby. And then we get this shift and we feel different.
Yeah, it was powerful, Lance. You helped me with a lot of that childhood stuff and that trauma of like growing up and feeling unwanted and like being told I wasn't good enough, and not getting an I love you from my dad, and, you know, doing something for him. And, like I would mow the lawn, and we lived on a big hill. I would mow the lawn. I was like 70 pounds, mowing the lawn on a hill. And he would come out and pick out like the one blade of grass that wasn't the same height as
God.
the rest of the yard. He was that guy, so it was a lifetime up until he passed when I was 19, where, I was trying to validate myself in his life, and he never had any sons, and he blamed my mom for that. And it was a whole thing. So it was really powerful to get to that rejection piece, because that rejection piece has really has really driven my whole life. Why I got into healing work, why. I mean, it's self-explanatory, right? And now I'm in finance. I I'm not sure I understand that yet, but it's something that has really helped me kind of purge and unravel and peel back the layers of that deep, 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 deep painful stuff. So I thank you for that. And I'm validating Lance and testimonial here for the listeners that he has helped me purge a lot of stuff that was old, right?
I'm just grateful that I've had mentors. Aren't we grateful the mentors that have come before us, that have helped us learn information that can help us today, that has caught up. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. 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 That stuff in utero with my mom was stuff she inherited from her mother. We went back even farther. Do you remember? And
I
I
believe
had
I
some
do.
grandma stuff coming up where my grandma was
Yes, now I
not
do.
given the freedom to be creative and make her own money. And
Yes.
my grandpa had multiple affairs, and she never really knew where he was or how much money he made. And she was never given any power. And that's generational, right? Things are changing for women. But
Yeah.
my grandmother had that in her when she birthed my mom.
It's changing, and as it's changing, how about we change ourselves to catch our own unconscious mind and body up with the times that are changing?
Right. And not give it to our kids, right?
Amen, man. That's why I favorite. That's gotta be. I mean, I tell parents like, hey, man, if you keep this, you're keeping it, and that means you're going to teach it. Like that's how do you teach? You cannot teach. My hands up with in my foot if you want, right? Both hands and a foot of like, man, it's always we're always spiraling up. We're always going to this new vibration. I think it's always going up that love, joy, peace, like thing. And there's always more to learn, more to grow, more to do, more to explore. And I think that a lot of us get lost and we should connect to our kid's self again and have fun and think about what lights us up and creates joy in our lives, and look at the things, let them go, and then light up what we want to be here and do and create. Because that's what I think we're actually designed to do. That's why it makes us happy, because it's our path. How about that?
Yeah. I'm still working on the path to living and not just surviving. It's a goal. I have to get to that point where I can really kind of enjoy things more, and as an entrepreneur, it's always work, work and pushing, right? But I can't see any more joy coming from a W-2 position, right?
No thanks.
I can't see me thriving in an environment like that after 20 years of doing it on my own. I just got to find that path of, you know, internal peace around where I'm at.
I heard one of my
It's
mentors tell me the
hard.
other day that Lance, there's always the wanted and the unwanted. And the unwanted gives birth to the wanted. So you can celebrate both.
Yeah, very
And I
good.
and I'm with you. I've
Every entrepreneur out there in the world knows what we're saying and understands what we're talking about for sure. Are you still with me, Lance? You're frozen up on my end. Hmm. Did I lose you?